Welcome back, everybody. We are talking sports here on Channel 21. Gates are open at Birmingham Greyhound Racing. A fantastic day. The Parlay Sports Contest is in full force. Mostly baseball now, football right around the corner. We talked about some of the coaches to keep an eye on this year. Let's kind of do a little bit of a loose ranking legend of the quarterbacks, because the quarterback in the college game is so important. Let's start with the participants, I should say, in last year's championship game, because both of them have a similar situation this year. They've got a standing quarterback, but they have an upstart that has ideas about playing and playing a lot. You've got Tua and Hurts, of course, at Alabama. You've got Jake Fromm, who did nothing wrong, took his team to a national championship game last year, but Justin Fields is turning a lot of heads in Athens.
Yeah, I really think Alabama and Georgia is kind of head and shoulders above these other teams because you do have two quarterbacks you can rely on. And ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake about it, this is a war. This is not a football season. This is a war where you may need more than one quarterback in a 15-season war. Ask Florida State last year.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, their season completely came apart in the fourth quarter against Alabama. So we've got those two that kind of the obvious choice of standing above, but this is a great year for quarterbacks in the SEC. There's guys like Jake Bentley. There are others that are coming back that like Fitzgerald at Mississippi State. These are big-time guys.
Big-time guys. This is as loaded as the SEC has been at the quarterback position ever, ladies and gentlemen. You may have as many as 5 future first-round draft picks in this class of quarterbacks. It is outstanding, Kip. Makes me want to get on the field right now, Kip. Get under center, ladies and gentlemen. Take a hop. Okay, you had to excuse me. I had a flashback there for a minute.
Oh, that's okay. I had to double check because anytime I just try to pronounce this guy's name, I screw it up at Ole Miss. But
well, everything's screwed up at Ole Miss, Kip, so don't matter.
But I guess it's Tuama.
Tuama.
Which is interesting, but he showed some flashes last year. Win Patterson, and we just mentioned, who's gone to Michigan now and is going to be allowed to play right away. I really don't know how they finagled that. I guess because Ole Miss was on probation. But Tuama is the man at Ole Miss. Staying in the West, Cole Kelly's going to run the Arkansas deal. Who knows what's going on there? LSU, Joe Burrow from Ohio State, looks like he's won that job down there. Any thoughts on these other contenders? Well, you don't call them contenders. I think all three of those were pretenders in the West.
Pretenders. I tell you who is a contender, though, is the Auburn quarterback, Jarrett Stidham.
I know you're high on him.
I'm high on Stidham. This is a guy that could end up in New York, Auburn fans. Yes, don't unclog your ears. You're hearing right. I'm putting a little praise on the Auburn Tigers. You got to tell it like it is when you're up here on this television thing. Yeah, believe me. But Jarrett Stidham, big-time arm, big-time NFL prospect. I tell you what, if that Mississippi State quarterback healthy down there too this year, that could be a big plus.
He's a monster. You know, I think with the key for Auburn, to be a great quarterback, you have got to have a very effective running game. And that's my biggest question here. Is Auburn going to have the stable of backs to be able to set Stidham up for success? Because we saw when he got in situations where Auburn had to go to the air, they didn't protect him sufficiently, and he was not nearly as good. But when they had that running game going, Stidham was awesome.
My wardrobe people waving at me, Kip. I'm coming out of my clothes over here wanting to play quarterback. My glory days are flashing back before me. I'll tell you one thing about LSU. They've been a quarterback away from getting back to where they belong. Is this guy the guy? Well, he couldn't even get 3 snaps at Ohio State in some games, but that don't mean nothing. When you're at Ohio State, there might be 2 5-stars in front of you. A lot of good reports about this guy, but I just have my doubts. LSU's one of them guys you could send Peyton Manning to, and you would still end up with a garbage quarterback system, Kip.
Well, there's 2 teams in the East Division that have returning quarterbacks. I think there's big questions on both of them. Both of them fit the absolute grid for a prototype quarterback, and I'm talking about Garantano, which is a great name at Tennessee, and Felipe Franks at Florida. These guys sound like movie characters. But remember, Garantano guaranteed that Tennessee was going to have a stellar second half of the season and really get their stuff together. Tried to do the Tim Tebow speech after a couple of embarrassing losses. The bad news was Tennessee didn't win another game the rest of the year.
Well, Butch Jones messed them up with all them championship of life trophies he gave them down there when they were freshmen. But you sure that's not Geronimo instead of, I mean, Tennessee's in trouble. And here's the thing, we've talked about this before. I mean, you need more than a quarterback. You need a line. I mean, ask Andrew Luck. You need an offensive line. I mean, you need other aspects, and Tennessee's just not there yet. And I don't think this guy's a very good quarterback. But I tell you who I do like. Oh, I tell you what, I like that kid down in South Carolina. Kind of remind me a little bit of Steve Spurrier back in the day. I'm going old school now. The ball coach.
People forget he was a Heisman Trophy winner.
Oh, yeah, when you get Greg on you, they forget you, Kip, or you go bald. I mean, they forget about you, Kip.
Well, he'll be back. He's coaching in the Alliance of American Football, which Birmingham has a team. Everybody loves Steve Spurrier. That's probably the best thing the new Birmingham team has going for them is people can go to the game and boo Spurrier.
Oh, that's going to be great. I'm going to be front row. Front row, baby, front row. But great quarterbacks, and we hadn't even talked about the kid down at Missouri. I mean, he's a top 5 NFL draft pick. This is a kid with a giant arm, ladies and gentlemen. Great field vision. Listen, I'm just gonna be honest with you right here. If you're an NFL owner and you want some real personnel in the coaching booth and in the GM, right here, we've talked more about football than the GM Ryan Grissom ever knew in 10 years in Indianapolis. And the last 20 minutes, I'm sorry, Kip, I get excited.
That's okay.
You put the pigskin in my hand, Kip. I get carried away.
I know, and I brought that for a reason today. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot here in the minute we have left in this segment. Go ahead and transport yourself. It's Thanksgiving. You just had your turkey, and you have to it's up to the legend. Who do you envision if there was such a thing as the MVP of, and assuming it's going to be a quarterback, who do you think from this list is going to have the most amazing season in the SEC?
Right now, I'm going to tell you. Yes, Tua is going to be great, ladies and gentlemen. About 25 touchdowns, 2,500 yards. But look for Jarrett Stidham to put up 3,500 yards and 35 touchdowns this year, throwing this pigskin for the Auburn Tigers. It's going to be a great year at quarterback, Kip. One of the greatest years ever. Do you feel it, ladies and gentlemen? I do.
Well, we've talked about here on the show, I'm anxious to see what happens at LSU. Is Joe Burrow going to be just another guy to come in and just run the store? We've talked about it here on the show before. Why can't LSU get a quarterback? But one of the great mysteries in modern day sports.
You know, we ought to call them unsolved mystery folks in on this one.
We should. Robert Stack's gone. He's up at the next level. But, we really need to do that because what a mystery. One of the premier programs in the league never seems to have a decent quarterback. Okay, so we've looked at coaches, we've looked at quarterbacks. We're going to talk some betting strategies and see if we can get some money in your pocket to get you ready for football season. You want to have lots of bullets to come out firing that first weekend. So when we come back, we are going to shift gears, taking a timeout. Come back after that and talk more sports and racing here on Talkin' Sports.